If you use a yoga ball to help you with your lower back pain and core strengthening exercises, then today's video is going to be for you. We're going to cover two very common but unfortunately misguided exercises that so many will gravitate to when they're looking to strengthen their lower back, especially if they have a yoga ball handy. Let's face it, it's a useful piece of equipment. There are tons of exercises you can do to really enhance and build strength, build balance, proprioception, etc. But it's so easy to fall into the wrong exercises if you don't have those principles to guide you. And let's face it, you do want to do strengthening. That is an important core tenet if you are trying to successfully recover from lower back pain or sciatica. But hopefully, by us covering these two principles or two specific exercises, you're going to be able to draw out two principles that will help you going forwards, choosing the right exercises instead of the wrong ones. When you're doing any exercises, whether it's strengthening, flexibility, etc., the focus matters. Why we're doing these exercises matters. So let's get into exercise number one. What is it? Why is it bad? And why should you stop doing it now? This very first exercise is the crunch, the abdominal crunch. We could call them sit-ups if you want, but you're leaning on that ball. And to be completely honest, the advantage, as you can see here, is that you don't have to sit on the floor. You don't have to sit on the bed. You can literally just get into a sitting position on the ball and you can roll yourself right into position and off you go. You're doing those crunches. But the big fault here is what we are actually doing to the lumbar spine. Every single one of you watching this video, almost bar none, will spend a plethora of time every single day racking up those hours sat in seated positions. What does the effect of a seated position do? It rounds your lumbar spine. I'll show you on the spine what is actually happening. When we are sitting for extended periods, we are rounding our lumbar spine, putting pressure through the lumbar spine here, particularly the lower lumbar discs. We're flaring out our sacroiliac joints. We're generally putting the lumbar spine in an inappropriate position. So to do exercises that often predate or precede or predispose our lower back to the very injury in the first place are just unwise. You don't need more help flattening out the lordosis. You don't need more focus on the rectus abdominis muscles, the six pack through here. What you need instead is that cylindrical strength, that stability through the lumbar spine, and doing different sorts of exercises that promote that, rather than endless sit-ups and crunches on the ball, is what is going to be helpful. The important thing to note here is it's not just that you should do other exercises instead. You should do other exercises instead and stop doing the crunches, because it's all well and good doing the right sort of exercises, but if you're doing these sorts of crunches on the yoga ball, you're going to be undermining the good work you're doing elsewhere. So cut them out immediately. And more importantly, any exercise in the early days of recovering from lower back pain, when you haven't built up strength yet, you're still getting those flare-ups, it's still vulnerable, any exercise, strengthening, flexibility, practice, whatever it is, that is rounding your lumbar spine as part and parcel of the exercise movement is going to be a bad exercise to do. Cut it out, you don't need any more help. It gets results when you start focusing on stability and the neutral position of your lumbar spine rather than rounding endlessly. Before we get into number two, we've got a little video. There'll be a link in the description. Check it out after this one. Those of you that do have a little bit more severe lower back pain, you're not necessarily so mobile, but you have one of these yoga balls hanging around the house. We've got a very short, it's about a 30-second video that'll just show you a little trick that you can do in the evenings with that yoga ball to help you get into a bit more of a comfortable position and prevent being still for quite so long. It's really good. Definitely check it out after this video. The second exercise that we want to avoid is this one here. It is the planks. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking, but hey, Mike, you just said you want to do exercises that promote spinal stability. That is correct. Yes, we do. However, in this position here, we are pre-stressing our lower lumbar discs. It's so easy to do this exercise incorrectly. It's also a little bit more advanced. There's just no benefit to doing these sorts of planks straight out the gate. There are so many other exercises that we could be doing that put ourselves in a better, safer position. For example, we could get on all fours and do something like a bird dog exercise, which is going to decrease the amount of stress and strain that is going to build up in that lower lumbar spine. You'll hear it all the time. People doing leg raises, which are basically planks the other way around, or doing planks themselves, they get lower back pain. Why is that? It's often because there's a little bit of jarring and a tremendous pressure buildup down at the lower lumbar section of the spine. When you're in this position on the yoga ball, we've got a contact point way down at the bottom. We've got a contact point up here, and we've got a tremendous amount of pressure that needs to be built up. And it's these lower lumbar discs that are going to take that strain. If you are weak or vulnerable in this area, doing this sort of exercise right out of the gate is a way to really aggravate and compress that L5-S1 in particular, as well as just create that jarring buildup in the lower lumbar spine. So really try and avoid this particular exercise. We find that many people will find huge amounts of success not going anywhere near any of these exercises that we've mentioned, the crunches and the planks, leaving them completely out for the long term. You will still build a tremendously strong core and build it, more importantly, which we'll get onto my next point, in a strong, robust way that is applicable to daily life. Think about the two movements we just discussed. It's rounding forwards or resisting being opened back out again. Most of your day, you have no need for working on these particular movements. When you bend down to touch your toes to put your socks on, you don't force yourself and contract your abs to do it. You just slowly lower yourself using the extensors on the back of your body. By training our core in a way that is applicable and real to real life, we can actually create a core that is robust and able to deal with the stresses and strains of real life. Very rarely do you have a load coming at you front on. It's always off to one side or the other, and your core has to function to maintain stability rather than just do sit-ups in one plane. Life isn't in one plane, it's in a multi-plane. We have multi-plane stresses on us on a daily basis. So when we are next looking to do any form of rehabilitative or strengthening exercises for our lower back pain, for our sciatica, think about what we're doing. We want to make them simple and easy to start with, working to stabilize and hold the core in a nice neutral position, hold the spine in a nice neutral position. And then as we build, we want to have exercise, which you can do perfectly well with the yoga ball. You can make very challenging exercises, such as, for example, you can use the dead bug and modify that to use the yoga ball to really help in building compression between the ball as you keep that core engaged and working one side versus the other, building in that dynamic stability and that asymmetrical stability as well. You can do a whole host of other things with that yoga ball, but try and keep them relative to real life and make them off balance so that you can work the core in the best possible way, whilst, very importantly, maintaining a neutral spine and avoiding unnecessary forward bending. You don't need help with that. So if you are someone that's using a yoga ball and thinking, hey, well, what do I do now, Mike? Because that stuff you just covered, that's basically what I was already doing. Watch it. Well, make sure you are subscribed to our channel, because we are going to be coming out with a bunch of new videos focusing a little bit on how you can use the yoga ball to enhance your rehabilitation and some exercise ideas that are back friendly, that are going to help you with your back recovery, whether it's sciatica, whether it's lower back pain, whether it's a disc herniation, whatever it is. Make sure you're following the channel, and chances are, if you're seeing this video in a couple of months from time, the videos are already there, so you can check out our YouTube channel. There'll probably be a link into it to it below. You can always subscribe to the channel, and if you do find this video helpful and you know someone else that's rehabbing their lower back and they're doing exercises like this, maybe with or without the yoga ball, then send them this video, share it with them, and hopefully they will get that guidance too and avoid making unnecessary mistakes. Too many people with lower back pain are going round and round in circles before they come to us and start doing the right sort of things. Make sure you're not one of them. Make sure you're following our channel, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.